Welcome to Going Dark, a podcast about Netflix's sci-fi series, Dark. I'm Dan.
I'm Olga, and today we are discussing Season 3, Episodes 1 and 2.
And we watched 301 to 304, and we're recording this back-to-back. This one is focused on 1 and 2, but we'll talk about things from 3 and 4 probably also. The plan is for this to come out on Thursday and 3 and 4 to come out Friday. Once again, we're off schedule, unfortunately, but I've been dealing with some medical stuff that have made scheduling things incredibly difficult. I'm doing all right now, but we're doing our best here to get back on schedule. I'm not going to promise anything. We're going to finish the show when we finish the show.
Yeah. There are no new episodes coming out, so this podcast will be as we're capable of doing it.
Yeah. That being said, let's talk about, the first 4 episodes. What did you think?
I overall enjoyed them. It was a nice change of pace. It was nice seeing characters that I guess I thought I'd written off, like Helga and middle-aged Ulrich.
Yeah.
Yeah, I really like the fact that Marta has more of a central role. I mean, it's Marta 2, as we refer to her, but nonetheless, that actress really gets some stuff to chew on for herself, as opposed to just being like the love interest. Yeah. 2 and 3 were not my favorites.
Yeah, but 1 and 4.
But 1 and 4 I really liked. So, it left me wanting to keep watching.
Yeah, not want to stop yet.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think we feel pretty similarly. I really liked the first episode. It was really exciting to see all the surprises of what was going on in Earth 2, as I'm calling it. And I agree with you, Marta, getting her focus is really fun. And I really liked the mystery of the unknown trio.
Yeah.
I thought that was great. And the opening with the fire and everything, it was just like, oh my God, what's going on? And this stuff. And obviously then the reveals and stuff in episode 4 I thought were fantastic too.
Yeah.
I struggled with 2 and 3 also. I felt like I don't understand what anyone's doing or why they're doing it. I understand why the pawns are doing what they're doing, but they're the pawns. And so that's it's starting to get a little frustrating to me that we're now halfway through the final season and I don't actually understand what Adam or Eva is trying to do.
Yeah.
And it's because every time they talk to someone, it seems like they're lying. And even when I thought I understood what Adam was talking about last season, maybe now he obviously knew about the alternate reality and we didn't. So now I'm like, well, how does that factor into his plans? Because they both are saying oh, this person wants to preserve it and this person wants to change
destroy it.
Yeah. I'm a little confused.
Yeah.
It seems like maybe both of them want to just save their own world and destroy the other world. That's my guess.
I think so, just because that kind of makes the most sense. Their loyalty being to their own
side.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But at the same time, maybe not. Maybe there's a twist there.
Yeah.
Maybe they are working together because the trio, after all, are the product of both of them.
Yeah.
So
yeah, it's just I feel like it's Eva says something, then Eva's younger self says she lied. Then what Eva's younger self said was also a lie to trick them into sleeping together. And it's just I don't know. Is it too many lies and too many people just being pushed around. But that being said,
at least the show's consistent.
Yeah. Yeah. I also did struggle with the fact that they had to go and make Ulrich and Egon awful. I had grown to like them despite their issues, and now they just feels like a slap in the face a little bit.
Men. Middle-aged men in their midlife crises.
Yeah.
And arguably middle-aged women and their midlife crises too. Not actually arguably, no, seriously, everyone sucks.
Yeah, it's true. But yeah, what you gonna do?
Yeah.
All right. What you gonna do? All right, shall we get into and just so you know, we are doing these recaps, but I put the points of interest into the recap. So we have some parts of the recap that are bold, and we'll go to an image and stuff like that. All right, so 301's recap for Deja-vu. Ooh, brought up in the very first episode. And we had to go back to episode 1 a little bit and see what was different and what was the same. I really enjoyed that a lot.
Yes, I really like that, slight alternate reality kind of vibe.
A trio of unknown individuals appear. They all appear to be the same person at different stages in their life. They light Adam's old place on fire and take the time machine blueprints. Ooh. The visuals here are awesome.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Yes.
And I will say, so like, we're not going to make the unknowns a point of interest because we've seen episode 4, so we know.
Right.
That being said, I don't think either of us predicted this. No. So cool.
Yeah.
I
was like, this has a completely new third party, and I did not think about it further about who logically they could be.
I thought it was going to be Ulrich and Hannah's child.
Oh.
Because I was like, they're evil, so makes sense.
Part of me was just like, they are some kind of like justice to the time stream thing. Like,
I don't know that would have made sense for this series, but it's definitely a time travel trope, so I get where you were coming from.
Yeah.
All right, so Marta 2 takes Jonas to Earth 2 and leaves him there all sad and alone. He doesn't know what to do. She says their two worlds are intertwined in a knot. And it's very naughty.
It will get there.
It's the day Mikkel disappeared back on Earth 1, but maybe something different happens this time. Marta 2 wakes up in a mirrored version of Jonas's house. Every set is mirrored. Point of interest. So here we go, baby. There is Jonas on one side and Marta on the other, and they're mirrored versions of their rooms. And I'm sure that there are visual things that we missed in this episode.
Yeah.
There's lots of different changes. One thing we liked was that the doorway of the high school is different.
Yeah. Or like just the accents on all of the door frames.
Well, the door frame is like super yellow on Earth 1 and not on Earth 2, which I think is interesting, especially because they still carry on the yellow themes.
Yes.
So, interesting.
But I mean, in general, the fact that the Nielsen's are living in Inez's house, like that's also a pretty different thing.
Yeah. The fridge, the important fridge with the milk is on the wrong side and all that stuff. The courtyard and where they basketball hoops and stuff in those high schools, all the opposite.
Yeah, there's a ton of things that are opposite, and Helga lives with Peter and Charlotta as opposed to in a home, Yeah.
All right, so Katarina and Ulrich are divorced. Magnus and Franny are banging upstairs instead of Ulrich and Hannah. So in every universe, someone's banging upstairs. Gotta like that.
That's some nice hope. Warms the heart.
And later we find out she's deaf and mute and Elizabeth isn't. All right, can we talk about this?
Yeah.
I don't even know what to say. I'm confused about the disabilities on this show.
Yeah.
Because sometimes it seems like is Elizabeth deaf and Franziska mute, or are they both deaf and mute? Because Franziska goes, and I'm mute in the alternate reality.
Yeah, that could have been a mistranslation or something.
Well, I mean, she could be mute and deaf, but
yes.
We
couldn't figure that out.
Yeah, I'm a little confused.
Yes.
Anyway, it's an interesting switcheroo. I mean, I guess it's probably one of those things where the traits just, they have the same DNA, but one thing is off.
Yeah.
Yeah. Magnus has a bunch of tattoos and an attitude like you won't believe.
He's a punk, like more of a punk than he was in Earth 1.
He's more Ulrich-y, which is kind of fun.
Yeah.
Marta leaves for school with a yellow coat. Ooh.
She stole Jonas's yellow coat because Jonas doesn't exist. Someone else bought it, and it was Marta.
Ulrich returns to a pregnant Hannah. Let's bring up the point of interest with her pregnancy. I'm interested in this pregnant Hannah situation because, I mean, jumping a little bit ahead, we see this whole family tree thing with all the, children and how things go. And there's no combination of Hannah and Ulrich child on the list.
Yeah.
Which to me implies that they die before they can have the child, or
Right.
Hana at least does, except for the fact that we still have her in both worlds going back in time and having a child with Egon.
Yeah, she's still connected to Egon, and there's still a line from their relationship to the child.
So does she have a miscarriage? That's the only thing
at this point, she's so pregnant. I mean, yeah, it could be premature, and then it...
Well, maybe like the radiation, something.
Maybe.
I don't know.
Then again, the fact that their world is such a devastated landscape, it's not so much necessarily just radiation. It seems like so much more intense than that.
Yeah, I just don't. Yeah, I'm a little confused because I almost want to be like, well, maybe the family tree thing is incomplete, except for the fact that like obviously Marta/Eva knows that Hana's pregnant.
Yeah.
So
I think we'll just see, but it is odd, and I am confused about that.
So she's pregnant in Katarina's house. He's already cheating on her with Charlotta.
No comment. I've said what I had to say. Freaking Ulrich deserved to be betrayed by Hana.
I just, come on, man.
No, keep it in your pants, man.
I mean, I know Katarina has glasses in this universe. He probably doesn't like that, but Olga is so happy. Anyway, Hana suspects the cheating and tries to subtly ask Katarina about it, but she sees right through it and has a lovely smirk.
Yeah. No, he didn't come see me. Why do you ask?
Yes.
She's seen the signs. Thing is, she's not as crazy as Hana is.
Yeah.
So.
All right. So Marta is dating Eric's brother, Killian, and Barty is a nerd. Eric is missing in this reality too. So I couldn't easily figure out if Killian was in Earth 1 or not. I think they might have referenced him, but I'm not positive.
We couldn't really find it.
Yeah. I assume he was in Earth 1 and he just was off screen. My question is, why have her dating Killian at all? They break them up in like one episode later, and it's very quick. I don't understand what the point of this was. I mean, I guess it made it so they had a reason to go to the caves, but like you could have just had Magnus want to steal the drugs.
No, but that's the thing. It wasn't about drugs.
Yeah, but it could have been about drugs this time.
It could have been, but I think that if anything, this is like more interesting or better, or like a better version. Like, oh, there's so much more punk in this, but they're going not for drugs. They're going to help someone, you know, the intent of helping someone. Additionally, I think that, I mean, it does have an effect on those episodes a little bit later. It does make Ulrich more, you know,
skeezy.
Not skeezy, but like more frustrating. And it gives Marta some more inner world that, you know, inner depth to this. Someone's looking out for her. Is the fact that Jonas is like, Marta, I came here for you. Yeah.
And she has things going on.
Yeah.
I just feel like they undid it so quickly.
They did, but also not, I mean, going into it, I don't assume they're going to undo it so fast. I mean, except for the fact that everyone dies. So
everyone.
So the thing is that she could be like, I want Killian back too, but you know, they break up. Yeah. So
it was also, I mean, I guess it was an interesting little beat for her later that she didn't really seem to care about him, and she was using him to rile up her parents, which in this reality are divorced.
Yeah.
So I guess that's something.
Yeah.
Other differences include Helga having a scarred eye instead of the ear issue, Vuller missing his arm, Ulrich is a captain this time, and Regina has passed away. Jonas comes to Marta's class. He slowly realizes nobody knows who he is, and he doesn't exist in this world. He tries to save Mikkel, but Mikkel isn't taken in Earth 2. Also, Mikkel seems to be older in this world, which I find interesting as a fun way to deal with the fact that, you know, the actor is getting older.
Yeah.
I don't know if it exactly makes sense, but I'll go with it.
Sure, why not? Whatever. I'll take it.
Yeah. Jonas repeatedly confuses and creeps out Marta too. because that's just a running theme in this show is creeping people out, whether it's Trunty creeping out Regina or, Ulrich creeping out a lot of people or Jonas creeping out a lot of people at different ages in life.
Yeah.
Yeah. Despite the creeping out, it does seem like Marta senses some connection, some deja vu, a glitch in the matrix. The teens do meet up in the caves and look for clues about Eric and are scared off. Marta sees herself covered in paint. Point of interest.
I have issues with this.
I don't know if I have issues, but I am confused as hell.
Yeah, I guess that's the issue.
This is the weirdest thing the show has ever done, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Because I explained away this happening to Jonas by being PTSD.
Right.
And
also his dad was a painter.
Yeah.
So it would make sense that his traumatized mind would see that. I don't understand why Marta would see herself covered in paint. That's why, in a way, it almost looks. I mean, last time I also thought it was just more like oil or grease. Yeah. Here, it looks like the dark matter that they trigger. She helps create a few episodes from now in Earth 1, but this still doesn't make sense.
Yeah, I'm especially because at one point I might have said, "Oh, that really was Michael in the other world," but we know that we know everything that happens with Michael in the other world. I guess this could be, I mean, it doesn't look like Earth 2 Marta. I guess she's wearing the dress that she has sex with Jonas in.
Yeah, from Earth 1. Yeah.
I don't know if it's like a ripple from Earth 1 or something.
It's another glitch.
But the fact that she has the paint, I think, is very strange.
Yeah.
Yeah. They hide in Franziska's bunker where they banged in the bunker, and that was some good times. And they hang in the family bunker. Mads falls through the rift, and they're the ones that find him this time.
Yeah, and they handle things differently.
They're dumb and tell people that they're crazy pants. At the end, Jonas meets old Marta too, a.k.a. Eva. Interesting that it's Eva in German, not Eve. Never knew that.
Yeah.
All right, back on Earth 1, the unknown trio kills Burnt in 87, and they take the power plant master key. One of them picks up an apple.
Ooh.
And they're next to a blue lamp here. So yeah, another point of interest. Again, definitely tying them to Adam and Eve. At this point in the episode, I don't think we knew Eva existed, so it wasn't super, super obvious, but definitely a clear connection to them being connected to Adam and Eve. The thing is, I don't in hindsight, this is a super big clue super early on. At the same time, it could have just been, hey, we're evoking the imagery of Adam and Eve because that's a thing that we do on this show.
Yeah, especially when the whole thing is about undoing something, doing something, causation, it kind of makes sense. Humanity would not exist, so to speak, without that biblical pairing. And it's all about God is time. We're fighting God. We're fighting time. It stands on its own 2 feet as imagery as well.
Yeah. And I want to mention the blue lamp and just that we have new theories and thoughts about color stuff that we're going to do at the end of 304. Also, we kind of joked around this time about how early on, I think in maybe the pilot or something, they were like, man, this crazy stuff is happening in Vinden.
Yeah.
Nothing happens here except that so many people are murdered.
Yes.
So much murder.
There's a lot of murder for this small town.
All right. So I think the last thing we have here is Earth 1, 1888. I didn't see this one coming. Marta 2 comes to adult Jonas working on a time machine. He is shocked to see her and hear she's from another world.
Ooh.
So that's another point of interest. Look at his shocked face. He's shocked, everybody.
And he's crying.
Yes. So this is another major WTF question for me.
How so?
How does he not remember?
Oh, yeah.
How does he, because I don't think this is a change. We already knew, Claudia knew about a world where Jonas didn't exist. Adam clearly knows about this stuff.
We don't know that in this episode, but then we find out, yes, he does.
So, and I guess Adam knows because of this, I would assume. Here's the thing that's complicated is I still don't think anything has changed. I don't think anyone between the time traveling and the alternate reality, I still think everything is as it always has been.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure. So the fact that he doesn't remember this is pretty weird. Either they changed something, which I don't think so, or somehow he loses his memory.
Yeah.
Maybe like something with the explosion on Earth 2. Like,
I think if anyone loses their memory, it's a younger Jonas.
Well, that's what I mean. Like, it's like young Jonas somehow loses his memory and then becomes this Jonas.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And somehow either Adam doesn't get it back. It's just that Adam remembers this interaction. Yeah.
That's the only thing I can think of.
Yeah, that's the thing that makes the most sense to me right now, but that could also change with the introduction of like new information.
Yeah, but also someone losing a lot of memory seems a little strange for this show.
Yes.
It's kind of out there. I mean, obviously the show is out there, but it's out there in a very specific way.
Yeah.
So interesting.
Yes.
I
don't know.
All right. Episode 302. It's all you, babe.
All right. So this one is called The Survivors.
I'm a survivor.
I'm not going to sing the song or do this with you right now.
Fair enough.
So we start back up on Earth 1 in 1888. Bartog, Magnus, and Franziska are shocked to see Marta. It's Marta too. Wah wah. Adult Jonas is suspicious of her and thinks Adam sent her. She says Jonas told her where to find them, but adult Jonas was never in her world. So kind of what we were just talking about. He's like, I have no idea what you're talking about. All this stuff.
Yeah, he doesn't even know about other worlds.
Yeah, I loved Magnus here being like, no, you have to be my sister. And I'm not dead. I'm here. Like, not the brightest bulb on the science team, Aria.
Yeah. I also wanted to point out that, like, I do like that this kind of points to Claudia continuing to have importance because we know she went to the other world at some point and we don't know what happened there.
Yeah.
So,
It could have just been an exploratory mission, I suppose, but probably not knowing Claudia.
And knowing the show.
Yeah. Blind old man Tannhaus is adult Jonas's benefactor. He comes from a line of sick mundus loonies started by his own father.
Yeah.
Bartog tells Marta...
Another thing that they set up and then like immediately kill off.
That was a little weird.
It's strange.
I don't get it. I don't get that.
Yep. I guess it's just to explain how do they have all this money and weird underground bunker.
Yeah. Sure.
Yeah. Did he like leave all of his wealth to Adam?
Well, very likely to Sigmundus, and that is like
Adam now.
They're carrying it on. So. Bartog tells Marta too that they're stuck in 1888 because they lack the radioactive material to power the time machine. Adult Jonas is attempting to build a new time machine, and Marta too tells Bartog that Jonas is Adam.
Dum, dum, dum.
Dun dun dun. In the season, so we have a point of interest here. In the season 2 premiere, did Noah kill Bartog for Jonas?
Yes. So we know that Noah kills someone at the start of season 2. We have the picture here. I think it could be Bartog.
I do too. There's something, in my opinion, that's in the pro column and in the anti column here. In the pro column is that this guy says, like, it's interesting that Adam sent you.
Yeah, you specifically.
Yes, you specifically. Yeah. Like, he knows what Noah is going to do.
Well, and also, so we know from the family tree, which we'll get to, that Bartog is Noah's father.
Yes.
So it would be particularly interesting that Noah was killing him.
Yeah.
At the same time, he says, Adam took you in.
So
the only way that makes sense is that for some reason they're hiding from Noah that Bartog is his father, and Bartog was on board with that.
Yeah.
That's weird, but who knows?
Yeah, so that's where we're a little bit like confused still, but we do... I'm pretty sure this is him killing his own father for being a non-believer now and all of this.
Because he always kind of was a non-believer.
Yeah, he was always, given they're fighting, he's always frustrated with Jonas. The fact that Adam in that season's like, oh, Bartog, that was always like a fool, that kind of thing. Like, it kind of... It works for me.
My question is he too young? But
now that I look at him closer,
yeah.
I mean, considering I still don't think that adult Jonas looks like someone who's 33 years older than current Jonas. So,
yeah, I don't know. It's hard to tell with actors sometimes.
Yeah,
but he's my front runner right now.
Yes, absolutely. Sure. Same deal.
Mm-hmm.
So on Earth 1 in 1987, Katarina is living in Enos's house.
Mm-hmm.
She and Mikkel have been gone for a few months, and Katarina is passing around lost boy posters at the high school. Hannah tells her about a crazy man that tried to bring Mikkel to the cave, and Katarina tells her to stay away from Ulrich and Mikkel.
Very fun moment.
Yeah.
I enjoyed that.
So unhinged.
Yeah. It was also funny how much young Hannah changed, whereas Ulrich and Katarina just look exactly the same.
Yeah. Yeah.
I enjoyed that. Also, definitely a surprise to me that Mikkel and Enos are gone and that Katarina's in their house and all that stuff. She just can't catch a break.
No, Katarina definitely cannot.
Yes.
And Enos is off manipulating Mikkel somewhere, which is...
Is she ever going to get her comeuppance?
Her comeuppance is her kid dies.
I suppose.
I guess.
Sure.
I know.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know if this is a world of justice.
Yeah, probably not.
Katarina visits the mental hospital and is met by her religious and abusive mother wearing the medallion of St. Christopher. He is the patron saint of travelers. Ta-da!
Which I think this is the first time we get that answer. At this point, I'm losing track of how many St. Christophers we have going around.
Right.
But yeah, interesting thing for sure.
Yes.
And I like how, especially these episodes, we have the hot potato of it going around. Yeah.
Yes. Katarina reunites with old Ulrich and promises to free him.
Mm-hmm. That was sweet.
Sweet and sad. And
yeah, I do hope he can free him.
Yes, and that even in his 80s, he can keep it in his pants. Can you imagine if he was like, bye? At Mads' wake, Jana calls out Trunty for sleeping with Claudia and caring more about her being missing than Mads.
Mm-hmm.
Cringe.
Yeah.
So awkward.
Very, very.
Yikes. Trunty questions Claudia's secretary about Claudia's disappearance. She's later killed by the unknown trio.
As they take more power plant, I think,
related items,
keys and manifestos
plans.
And all
just
that
how
stuff.
It worked, the reactor stuff. Yeah. Or the cooling pool or whatever that's called.
Yeah. I mean, jumping a little bit ahead, it seems like they're planning to set up the initial accident
on Earth 2.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or maybe both Earth. Well, no, he's doing all this on Earth 1.
He is doing all of it on Earth 1, but also for Earth 2, because Earth 1 has its method of reactor.
No. So I'm not saying the end of the world thing. I'm saying the original accident that created the cave thing.
Oh,
that we've never seen how that happened. I think they're finally going to explain that. Yeah.
Okay. All right. I didn't take it like that, but that makes sense. Or as much sense as anything can. Yeah.
Yeah.
Trunty picks up Regina at the bus stop and asks her about her mother. It's revealed / implied that he's her father. And I mean, it's confirmed later by that family tree. But yeah, I could see her being simultaneously either creeped out by him and being afraid that he's like coming on to her, and also him, like, her not even wanting to deal with the idea of him actually being her father, and like
it's kind of interestingly reminiscent of the fact, foreshadowing reminiscent of the fact that Trunty doesn't care about who his dad is.
Yeah.
Because he's like, whatever.
Screw that guy.
Yeah.
And screw my mom too.
Yeah.
I could see how his relationships with his parents again make him like kind of distant from his children and his family.
Yeah.
Yeah. Infidelity. Thy name is Vinden. Shortly after the apocalypse, adult Claudia takes care of Regina. While she's gone, old Trunty appears and kills his daughter, saying, "She said this is the only way to save you."
Yeah, this is how he takes care of Regina.
Oh, man.
I assume this is old Claudia.
I do, too. Yeah. I mean, he read the notebook at some point. There still could have been something about that in there.
So I would assume that her being dead motivates young Claudia to blah, 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 to eventually do whatever she's trying to do.
To try to save Regina. Yeah. Although I don't see how that changes. And again,
what is she even trying to do? Who knows?
Yeah.
I guess she might be trying to save her world. She might. The thing that's interesting is like Noah set up all this stuff of like Noah versus Claudia. I think Adam and Claudia are working together at this point. That's my assumption.
Ooh.
I assume that they both want their world to survive and not have an apocalypse.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Because why would Claudia care about the
Earth
world?
too? Yeah. By the way, this was a point of interest. I forgot to indicate that. Sorry.
Point of interest.
Point of interest. Yes.
Ooh, bathed in red.
We'll discuss that at the end of the episode 3 and 4 podcast.
Yeah.
Ooh. Yes. Ooh, it's so red. So Peter and Elizabeth go to a wall of the dead, and they don't find Franziska or Charlotta. They scavenge for supplies, and young Noah talks to Elizabeth. Peter tells him to stay away, but Noah says he'll need to protect Elizabeth when, point of interest, Peter is murdered. Dun, dun, dun.
And my assumption is that the unknown trio kills him.
I think so too.
Yeah.
I think their like allegiance, I guess you could argue, to the time street, to the knot, I guess, and the fact that Charlotta is the product of Elizabeth and Noah and vice versa. So like
Peter would stand in the way of that.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I could see them trying to facilitate that.
Yeah. So interesting for sure.
Yeah.
This whole Noah and Elizabeth thing, a little bit uncomfortable.
More than a little bit for me.
I mean, the actors don't seem as crazily different in age as the character. Well, she's like 9 in the character world.
I'm 0% on board with this.
Yep, I get it.
Ugh. I genuinely don't understand like the need for Elizabeth to be this young.
I mean, maybe they cast her before they had all the plans.
I don't think they, for everything I've understood about the show so far, is that everything was planned out when they.
I don't think everything was planned out. I think
this is such a major thing that it feels pretty.
Yeah, but like, they cast a little bit of like episode 3 or 4 or whatever, you know. Like,
yeah.
So I wouldn't be shocked.
I mean, I could see the whole thing being like, oh, for her like childhood boyfriend Yasmin to disappear, like she has to be young enough that he would be a target. But I mean, like Eric was a teenager, so.
Well, couldn't young Noah have been younger? Like adult Noah is like a very like ambiguous age.
Yeah, that's true,
but he also has to murder people and stuff. But we had young unknown murder people, so
I don't know.
Anyway,
but
murder
visually,
and incest.
this makes me uncomfortable.
Yep.
I can forgive incest, but I can't forgive pedophilia.
Fair enough, dear. Fair enough.
God, what has this show done to me? Anyway, back on Earth 2, Eva tells Jonas that the apocalypse is coming there in 3 days.
Helps with the TV show that we don't have to wait another month or whatever.
Yeah, even with time jumps.
Yep.
And then our last point of interest is the much often mentioned family tree. And so we learn a few things here that we've already been kind of referencing.
This was very exciting.
Yes, I think this is awesome.
Yeah.
So we find out that Helga's father is Anatol Velyev. I don't necessarily think that's going to like play into anything.
Yeah, it just confirms that he's product of rape, which we already knew, basically, but interesting.
We find out that Egon and Hannah have a kid, and her name is Celia Tiedemann. Is she future girl?
That's my current guess. We can get back to that later, I would assume, in episode 4.
Yeah.
But yeah, I that's the thing that makes the most sense. Again, she was another one where I was like, is she Hannah and Ulrich's child?
Right.
Who is conspicuously absent here.
Yes. But she married, or at the very least has children with Bartog, and their kids are Noah and Agnes.
Very interesting.
I know. Yeah. That's really awesome. Like, so twisted and cool. And again, it kind of would track that that's why like Noah and Agnes are like in the cult of Sigmundus, like because of their parentage and Bartog and all of that. Additionally, that makes Celia Jonas's half sister.
Yeah.
So if it is future girl, then them kind of like working together and that kind of thing is nice.
Yeah, I think that's cool.
Yeah. Additionally, it's confirmed that Helga is Peter's real father. We were both like, maybe we should have just always been taking that as fact, but it was a little odd.
Yeah. We never really, it was always felt kind of weird that he was so far away. And so he shows up in 87 and now we're seeing 87. So in theory, we might see young Peter this season and maybe get a little bit more of young Charlotta.
Yeah.
I would definitely say yes if this wasn't the last season.
Yeah.
Feels a little random and unnecessary at this point.
Yeah.
But maybe we'll see his introduction in the same episode Peter dies.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah.
And we have the named mother who is, I guess, Helga's
Divorced,
ex.
maybe. Yeah.
Additionally, we do get real confirmation that Franziska and Magnus don't have any children.
Which is interesting.
Yeah.
And I also don't know if I believe it either. Because at one point you thought Unknown was Franziska and Magnus's kid.
Yeah, because I was like, I could see a resemblance in the actors and the casting if they wanted to go that direction.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I mean, there is a reason for a resemblance because Marta is Magnus's sister. But.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. Interesting that maybe they just can't have kids, or I don't know.
Choose not to in an apocalypse where they're time traveling.
Or just they don't have kids, so they can't have kids.
Right, right. The self-fulfillment of that.
Yes.
Yeah.
I was very excited when this came up, and I was like, ooh, what things can I see ahead of time that are like, because it almost feels like a cheat.
Yeah.
Because it's like, oh, they haven't told us all this yet, but now I'm excited to see it.
Except the thing is that I guess they're really just like, we don't care because the ultimate thing, the infinity, you don't know what that is. You don't know.
The origin.
Yes, the origin. I was like staring at that first time and I was like, how is Agnes like the product of a box that says infinity? Like,
well, no, it's not. It's Trunta. It's Agnes and infinity equals Trunta.
Yes, that's what I meant. I was like, how does she partner with an infinity symbol? I was like, she just like comes out of the dark matter pregnant. I was like, I mean, I guess.
That would have been funny.
It would have.
Yeah.
But I was just like, this makes no sense to me. How?
Poor Agnes. I don't think this is of her own volition.
No.
Yeah.
No.
All right.
So,
and with that wraps up part 1. Now we're going to do 3 and 4 for tomorrow. Thank you guys so much for watching, and we'll see you in the future.
Bye-bye.
Or maybe in a different world.
Ooh.